The story starts with a young boy named Tim. Life has not been easy for him. His mother has passed away, and he and his father do not have much money. But even after all this, Tim is always smiling. And not just a normal smile, his laugh is special. When Tim laughs, everyone around him starts laughing too. It's almost impossible to stay serious near him. Tim's best friend is Ida. She is the daughter of a kind baker in town. Tim and Ida spend a lot of time together. On weekends, Tim goes with his father, Hans, to the horse racetrack. Hans loves betting on horses. The problem is he never wins. Still, Hans always tells Tim, "One day we will have enough money, and we will eat at the most expensive restaurant in town." Tim believes him every time. One day, everything begins to change. At the bakery, Hans introduces Tim to a woman named Lydia. He says she is going to be his new partner. With her is her son, Erwin. From the very first moment, Tim doesn't feel good about this. And soon, his fears come true. Lydia and Erwin move into Tim's house. Right away, Erwin starts acting bossy. In their bedroom, there is a top shelf where Tim keeps something very special. A small cardboard castle his mother made for him when he was a baby. It is one of the last memories he has of her. Erwin doesn't care. He throws the castle to the ground and steps on it. Tim is heartbroken and angry. He jumps on Erwin in rage. But Erwin hits him back and then runs to his mother, pretending to cry. Lydia believes her son without asking any questions. She forces Tim to say sorry. Then she tells Hans that Tim started the fight. Hans gets angry and scolds Tim. Tim feels alone. Later, Tim meets Ida and tries to forget everything. He invites her to watch a movie. During the movie, something amazing happens. Tim starts laughing loudly and freely. And just like always, his laughter spreads. Soon, the whole cinema hall is laughing with him. Even people who don't know why they are laughing can't stop. But in the corner of the theater, one man is not laughing. A well-dressed man wearing a suit and dark glasses watches Tim very carefully. He doesn't smile, he doesn't laugh, he just watches. The next day, Tim and his father go back to the racetrack like always. Hans decides to bet on a horse named Sherlock Holmes. For once, luck is on his side. The horse actually wins. Hans gets excited and rushes to collect his prize. But when he reaches the counter, something strange happens. Instead of getting a big reward, he receives only one single coin. Just one. It makes no sense. But Hans doesn't want to ruin the moment for his son. He keeps smiling and says, "A promise is a promise." So he takes Tim to a fancy hotel to finally eat at an expensive restaurant. But when they enter, the receptionist looks at their old, simple clothes and refuses to let them in. They are turned away. Hans feels embarrassed, but he pretends everything is fine so Tim won't feel bad. Quietly, they go back home. And then something terrible happens. While working at a construction site, Hans is involved in a strange accident. A heavy beam suddenly falls the wrong way and he dies. Just like that. Because he had no savings and no property, the funeral was very small and simple. There isn't even a proper gravestone with his name on it. Tim is broken inside. He wants to place flowers on his father's grave, but he has no money, so he tries to take flowers from another grave nearby. Before he can do it, his stepmother stops him. That is the final blow. Filled with pain and anger, Tim runs away. He doesn't know where he's going. He just keeps walking. Without thinking, he ends up at the racetrack again. There on the ground, he finds a single coin. And suddenly, the same mysterious man from the cinema appears again. The man calmly tells Tim to use the coin to place a bet. He says everything is already arranged. He tells him to bet on a horse called Westwinder. Tim feels unsure, but he has nothing to lose. So he does it. And unbelievably, the horse wins. Tim stands there in shock. When he collects the money, he suddenly starts crying. Not because he lost, but because he won. He finally did what his father always dreamed of doing. He won big at the racetrack, but his father is not there to see it. As Tim stands there with tears in his eyes, two strange men walk toward him. They introduce themselves as Behemoth and Bile. They act friendly and comfort him. Then they tell him to hide the money safely so nobody can steal it. Behemoth even shows him how to wrap the cash inside a handkerchief and keep it inside his coat pocket. Later, Tim meets the mysterious man with the dark glasses again. This time, the man gets angry and tells Tim that he has already lost all his money. Tim quickly checks the handkerchief, and he is shocked. The money is gone. Instead of cash, there are only pieces of newspaper inside. Tim realizes that Behemoth and Bile tricked him. Still, the mysterious man introduces himself as Baron Leaf, the richest man in the world. He calmly gives Tim another coin and tells him to try again. The next day, Tim goes back to the racetrack, but he arrives too early and falls asleep on a bench while waiting. This gives Behemoth and Bile the perfect chance to return. They quietly steal his only coin, A few minutes later, Timm wakes up and sees Baron Leaf again. The Baron tells him to hurry because the betting time is about to end. But there's a problem. Timm can't find his coin. Without it, he has no way to place a bet and win his money back. That's when the Baron makes a very strange offer. He tells Timm that he can make sure Timm never loses a bet again for the rest of his life. In return, Timm has to sell something very special, his laughter. At first, Timm thinks the Baron is joking, but then the Baron takes out an official contract and shows it to him. He promises Timm that if he signs it, he will never have to worry about money ever again. Timm is unsure, but in the end, he signs the contract. And the moment he does, something changes. Timm's face becomes completely serious. He suddenly cannot smile anymore. Just like the contract promised, he places a bet, chooses the winning horse, and gets the prize money. But there is no happiness on his face, no smile, no laughter. Timm starts to think maybe everything is fake. So with the money he just won, he invites Ida to the movies again. During the movie, everyone in the theater laughs and enjoys the show. Everyone except Timm. He just sits there quietly, with no reaction at all. At the same time, Baron Leaf returns to his office feeling happy. That's when the truth is revealed. Behemoth and Bile actually work for him. They were never trying to help Timm. The Baron tells them to keep watching Timm closely because he wants to use the boy's amazing luck for his own plans. But there's one problem. Timm might recognize them. So using his magic, the Baron turns both of them into mice so they can stay near Timm without being noticed. Back at the cinema, Ida realizes that something is wrong with Timm. He is acting very different from before. She asks him what happened, but Timm avoids the question. Instead, he buys her some colorful balloons to change the topic. Ida becomes curious and asks where he got the money from. Timm doesn't want to tell the truth about the deal, so he makes up a strange lie. He says that he stole the money from the city senator. It sounds completely crazy, but Timm's serious face makes it look real. Ida believes him. She quickly runs back to the bakery to tell her mother. Unfortunately, a customer overhears their conversation, and soon the rumor spreads across the whole city that Timm robbed the senator. By the time Timm reaches home, his stepmother already knows everything. Erwin searches Timm's coat and finds the money. Lydia becomes angry and threatens to punish him, but right then Ida's mother arrives and clears everything up. She explains that Timm didn't steal anything. Soon after, the police confirmed that there was no robbery. Timm then admits that he got the money by betting on horse races. Now that the truth is out, Lydia forgives him, but she decides to keep all the money for herself. Even after everything is fixed, Timm feels hurt that Ida believed the rumor and told others. Because of this, they stop talking to each other. Feeling sad but wanting to use his new luck, Timm starts playing marbles with the boys at school and makes bets with them. And just like always, he wins every single game. But instead of being impressed, the other boys think he is cheating. Slowly, they all begin to stay away from him. Things only get more awkward when one day, Ida comes to his house with a cake hoping to say sorry. But sadly, she only meets Lydia and Erwin. They eat the whole cake themselves and never tell Timm that she came to see him. After this, Lydia starts thinking that Timm's constant winning is very strange, so she decides to take both Timm and Erwin to the racetrack to see it with her own eyes. At the racetrack, she tells Timm to choose a horse. He does, and the horse wins. Lydia is shocked. She quickly grabs the money and wants to leave before anything goes wrong, but Erwin asks Timm to bet again. Timm says that next time they can win even more, so Lydia agrees. The second race starts, but this time Timm's horse falls behind and finishes in fourth place. Lydia and Erwin get angry and start blaming him for losing the money, but suddenly, the announcer makes an announcement. The first 3 horses are disqualified, which means Timm's horse is now the winner again. Everyone is stunned. Without wasting a second, Lydia keeps the prize money for herself. But for Timm, money doesn't matter anymore. Deep inside, he only wishes his father was there to see all this. Later, Timm walks alone through the city and stops outside the same fancy hotel where his father once dreamed of taking him to eat. One of the receptionists, named Kresimir, recognizes him. He invites Timm inside because he has heard about his amazing luck. To test him, Kresimir challenges Timm to a card game. Timm agrees, but with one condition. If he wins, he wants a job at the hotel. He wants to earn his own money and get away from his stepmother. Kresimir accepts the deal. At that exact moment, Yvonne, the owner of the hotel, announces that she needs a new elevator operator. And just like that, Timm gets the job. From that moment on, he decides to stop gambling forever. That same night, he leaves a note for Lydia and Erwin saying that he has found a job and will be moving out. On his way to the hotel, Timm stops by the bakery and runs into Ida. She rushes to talk to him. When she hears that he is moving away, she tries to fix things and asks if he liked the cake she brought for him. Timm has no idea what she's talking about. In a hurry, he says he is late for work and leaves. Ida returns to the bakery crying, and there she sees Baron Leaf sitting at a table. When she calls for her mother, she realizes her mother has fallen asleep. The Baron calmly tells Ida that he knows about her feelings for Timm and that he can make Timm come back, but only if she agrees to make a deal with him. Meanwhile, Timm starts working at the hotel. He asks the staff about Baron Leaf because he wants to find him and get his laughter back at any cost. But nobody knows where the Baron is. Soon after, Timm notices two maids carrying a bucket with two rats inside. They are actually Behemoth and Bile in disguise. They have entered the hotel to spy on him. Yvonne orders them to be killed immediately, but Timm offers to take care of it himself. He takes the rats outside, and instead of hurting them, he sets them free. This act of kindness surprises them. Now they start to wonder if they should really keep following the Baron's orders. Back inside, Timm checks the copy of the contract he signed, and there, he finds something very important. If he ever loses a bet, the contract will break, and he will get his laughter back. Seeing this chance, Timm goes to Kresimir and makes another bet. He claims that Baron Leaf will arrive at the hotel the very next day. Kresimir doesn't believe him, but agrees to the bet. Just seconds later, the phone rings. It's news that the Baron is really coming to stay at the hotel. Yvonne quickly orders the hotel to prepare a grand welcome party. Soon, all the rich people in the city gather to meet him. Finally, the Baron arrives, and Timm is the one who takes him up in the elevator. Inside, Timm asks him to cancel the contract, but the Baron smiles and explains that the only way to break it is by losing a bet, something that is almost impossible now, because Timm's luck will never run out. Before leaving the elevator, the Baron removes his dark glasses, and that's when Timm notices something shocking. The Baron now has bright blue eyes exactly like Ida's. Timm gets scared and immediately thinks something bad has happened to her, so he decides to rush to the bakery as fast as possible. To get there quickly, he calls Kresimir and makes another bet, saying he will reach the bakery in just a few minutes. Once again, he wins the bet. Soon, Timm arrives at the bakery and runs straight to Ida's room. The room is completely dark. Ida is happy to see him and tells him that the deal she made with the Baron worked. Now they can be friends again. But something feels wrong. Timm notices that Ida's eyes now look strange. They have a yellow color, and she can only see in the dark. That's when Timm understands the truth. The Baron took Ida's real eyes and kept them for himself. Timm promises her that he will fix everything. He holds out his hand, and when Ida grabs it, she suddenly feels pain in her eyes, and just like that, her normal vision comes back. At the same time, back at the hotel, the Baron is about to give a speech when he suddenly gets a terrible headache. Behemoth and Bile rush to him and realize that he has gone blind, and the only person who could have caused this is Timm. Back at the bakery, Ida is overjoyed to see again. She hugs Timm tightly, but even now, Timm still cannot smile. So he runs back to the hotel to face the Baron. But when he gets there, the Baron is already gone along with all the guests. Later, Kresimir talks to Timm and says that it feels strange how someone who always looks sad keeps winning every bet. That's when Timm finally tells him everything. About the contract, about losing his laughter, and about how the only way to break the deal is to lose a bet. Kresimir thinks deeply and later that night comes to Timm with an idea. He suggests that Timm should make a bet where he claims that he is richer than the richest man in the world. This way, he will be lying and finally lose the bet. Timm agrees. But when they make the bet, nothing happens. His luck is still there. Even so, Timm thanks him and goes to sleep. Meanwhile, Kresimir keeps thinking about the contract. He writes the Baron's name on a handkerchief and sees its reflection in a bottle. That's when he notices something strange. The name Lafute, when read backwards, looks like a German word that means devil. This scares him. Soon after, the hotel suddenly loses power. When the lights come back, Kresimir takes the elevator to find Yvonne. But another blackout happens and he gets trapped inside. Suddenly, his reflection starts disappearing from the mirror, and a dark shadow attacks him. At the same time, Timm is sleeping in his room when security guards wake him up. They tell him shocking news. Baron Lafute has died during the night and has named Timm as his only heir. Yvonne tries to stop them, but then she finds Kresimir unconscious inside the elevator and rushes to help him. A few hours later, Timm is taken to the Baron's mansion, where a beautiful room is ready for him. Confused and tired, Timm falls asleep. The next morning, he walks into the main hall and comes face to face with the Baron, alive. The Baron reveals that he faked his death and pretended to be his own twin brother. By giving all his wealth to Timm, he made Timm the richest person in the world, which means Timm unknowingly won the bet he made with Kresimir. Then the Baron reveals the truth. He is not just a rich man, he is an evil being who makes deals with people. He gives them what they want in exchange for the thing they value the most. He has helpers all around the world, and he secretly creates problems in people's lives just so he can later make deals and benefit from them. After hearing the truth, Timm refuses to keep the Baron's money. He demands that his laughter be returned. But the Baron reminds him about the contract once again. Then, with no warning, he steps into a mirror and disappears through a strange portal, returning to his secret company. There he meets Behemoth and Bile and tells them that Timm is now living in his mansion. And now, his real plan begins. The Baron wants Timm to keep gambling again and again, because every time Timm makes a bet, he slowly loses a part of his soul. And once his soul is completely gone, Timm will become the Baron's successor. To start this plan, the Baron arranges for Lydia and Erwin to visit Timm. As soon as they arrive, they begin asking him for help to earn more money. Now, influenced by the Baron and still angry at them, Timm decides to use his luck for revenge. He makes bets so that Lydia and Erwin are forced to leave the mansion. He even thinks about placing a bet to make a swarm of bees attack them. This makes the Baron very happy. He encourages Timm to continue punishing them. But just in time, Timm stops himself. He still has some kindness left in his heart and refuses to risk anyone's life. The Baron then warns him that if he really wants to protect people, he must stay away from them, especially from the ones he loves the most, like Ida. Even though it hurts him deeply, Timm agrees. But soon, Ida reads in the newspaper about a boy who has become the richest person in the world. She decides to visit the mansion to see Timm. When she meets him, Timm acts cold and distant. He says that he only wants to make a bet with her to help Kresimir recover. Ida agrees, and when they shake hands, back at the hotel, Kresimir suddenly wakes up. After that, Timm tells Ida to leave. He says he no longer needs her friendship, and that he is better off living alone in his luxurious mansion. His words hurt Ida badly. She leaves in tears, and the Baron watches everything with a smile, happy to see Timm becoming more and more alone. Next, the Baron announces a grand betting championship in Timm's name. Posters are placed all over the city saying that all the money will be donated to orphan children. The next day, the entire town gathers at the racetrack. A group of orphan children even sings for Timm to thank him for his kindness. But in truth, everything is part of the Baron's plan to pull Timm deeper into gambling. During the event, the Baron notices an orphan boy whose laughter is just as powerful as Timm's used to be. He suggests that Timm should make a bet with the boy and take his laughter. That way, Timm could smile again and the Baron would get a new future successor. With his soul almost trapped, Timm is about to accept. But without the Baron knowing, Ida and Kresimir have also arrived. When Ida sees Timm on the stage, she tries to reach him. But Behemoth and Bile stop her. She begs them for help and tells them that Timm is being controlled by the Baron. This reminds Bile of the time when Timm spared his life. For the first time, Bile decides to go against his master. He convinces Behemoth to do the same. Taking advantage of a moment when the Baron is distracted, they secretly take Timm under the stage, where he is finally reunited with Ida and Kresimir. Ida tells Timm that she now knows everything about the contract. Then she comes up with a smart plan. She makes a new bet. Ida says that Timm is not able to smile anymore, and she is willing to bet that he actually can. If Timm accepts this bet, his own luck will force him to win, which means he will smile again and break the contract. But Timm hesitates. His soul is almost gone, and his desire for power is starting to control him. At the same time, the Baron realizes that Timm has disappeared. Furious, he orders everyone to find him. His anger creates a huge storm around the racetrack. Hearing the Baron's voice, Timm feels pulled toward him again, but Ida refuses to give up. She reminds Timm of an old joke they used to laugh at when they were kids. That memory touches his heart. Slowly, Timm begins to come back to his senses. Ida offers the bet again. Just as Timm is about to answer, the Baron suddenly appears and orders him to come back. But this time, things are different. Thanks to Ida, Timm manages to resist the Baron's control. He accepts the bet. A powerful force is released, pushing the Baron back. The storm disappears, and the contract finally breaks. Timm is free. He hugs Ida, and for the first time in a long time, he truly smiles again. Together with Ida and Kresimir, Timm leaves the racetrack. On their way, They see the Baron one last time. Now he looks old and weak. He tries to tempt them by crying diamonds, hoping they will make another deal. But Timm refuses without even thinking. Soon after, Behemoth and Bile appear. They promise that they will never serve the Baron again and will protect Timm from now on. Seeing that he is lost, the Baron walks away. But before leaving, he turns Behemoth and Bile back into rats once again. In the end, Timm and Ida return to their simple neighborhood and the bakery, taking the two rats with them. From that day on, Timm lives there with Ida and her mother. Now happy again, he understands something very important. You don't need to be rich to smile, and you don't need money to be truly happy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments what you think about this story.